Hi there, folks, and welcome to TV Tuners. It's a television podcast for the true fanatics. It's a weekly dive in the latest in TV news and reviews. I'm your host, Swanson. With me, as always, is my co-host and guy who's really wants to go outside and see his dead wife.
Well, howdy there. I'm the sheriff of Silotown. The nicest hole in the West.
Yeah? Is this like a Westworld scenario now?
We got computers.
Oh, this is like a Fallout scenario.
When you think about it, porters are sort of like the robots in Westworld.
True. Yeah.
Except less cool.
Very much so.
And less paid.
Also true.
Those fellas ain't getting no milk. Yeehaw!
Fellas ain't getting no milk. They're clapping because they agree. My man knows.
I don't think they have milk down in that hole.
It did not seem like it. They didn't really show what they were drinking.
I didn't see a dog, did you?
No. You think they're milking the dog?
No, I'm just saying, do they have animals?
Oh.
A dog is a type of animal.
True.
Some might say.
Some would say that. I didn't see any animals. If you're listening this far along already, then, and by which I mean a minute and 30 in,
unbearable amount of time.
You might have noticed that it is just me and Stair here today. Keorain, he was in a bit of news, you could say.
He decided to push the frontier of human exploration.
Yeah.
Like taking a trip down to the Titanic.
Yeah, and by now you've already heard what happened, I think.
Yeah, and it's kind of racist they didn't mention him.
Yeah.
Being on the sub because he's black.
Very much so. And you might be like listening to this and being like, from all of the episodes of, because I'm a true TV Tuners fan, this hypothetical listener, all the episodes I listened to, you guys seem pretty destitute or living together in a broken down house. And you're right. Keo actually got on there as like their little guy who gives them like drinks and stuff.
You mean servant?
They called him little guy.
Oh, okay.
He kept going around. He kept telling me that he was gonna be the little guy. Who can,
which is ironic
sandwiches.
Because Keo is like 5'9".
Yeah, he's a little guy compared to us behemoths at 5'11" and 6 something.
6'3".
Yes, Stairs actually is part of the championship NBA Denver Nuggets team, right?
I can't believe
you were on there.
I refuse to believe that's what they're called.
The Denver Nuggets, yeah, they're a team.
That's not even
like Golden Nugget.
What if it's like the Denver Grimace? It's a bunch of grimaces.
Yeah, and they won the championship because it's his birthday.
Yeah.
What an odd decision McDonald's has recently made to just be like, we're all about Grimace now.
I mean, it's like one of the most perfect character designs you can think of, Grimace.
Just a purple nugget.
There's nothing offensive about him.
It's true. It's hard to be like, I hate Grimace.
He's Kirby-esque.
It's true. Like, it's easy to be like, I hate Ronald McDonald. He's a clown.
I hate the Hamburglar. He
right.
fucked
it's easy
my wife.
Easy to hate the Hamburglar because, one, he fucks people's wives, and two, he steals hamburgers.
He swung my wife 11 times, and I'm
Mayor
still
McCheese, we're always going to hate political figures. And the police officer one, I mean, that one speaks for itself. So, yeah, in terms of...
Plus Mayor McCheese's whole Shamrock Quiddiquick controversy.
Oh, yes. But, so yeah, I guess in terms of the McDonald's canon, Grimace is sort of the best mascot.
He's the best we have to offer as a species.
Yeah. Anyway, happy birthday to Grimace.
Happy birthday to Grimace.
And also R.I.P. to Keorain, which is what we were actually getting at.
And he did leave us a final message.
Yeah, now
on his tape recorder.
I want to play this message, but I haven't heard it yet.
No.
No?
You must never listen to it.
Oh no, is it bad?
Yeah, it was right before.
Oh, he just like started recording right before it happened?
Yeah.
Oh, that seems bad.
I'm just gonna put this in a vault.
Yeah, that seems
right. So you don't get tempted to listen to it.
But now that we've discussed it, of course, it means that weirdos on the internet will keep making like fake versions of it.
Oh no. Why? Why would you do that?
Where they just use like stock exploding sound effects and have like a moment where Kyo is like, "Oh no." Or a man who sounds like him.
Oh, we should find a guy who sounds like Kyo to replace him.
That's a good idea. Hey, listen, if you're listening to the pod and you sound like Kyo...
If you're making a fake Kyo death tape, hit us up.
Yeah. TV
and if you're Werner Herzog, also hit us up.
Oh yeah, great. That would be great third man energy. Just like, the show was abysmal. It was a slog through the very crevices of humanity. Art.
We have shoved our own heads up our asses.
And then we're just like, I don't know, it was funny when the one thing happened. Anyway, welcome to TV Tuners for another exciting week.
This is not a circus. We are not here for cheap laughs.
Why would they make an entire TV show based around Marmaduke?
We are here to humor the soul.
Yeah. I think we would have to officially make it Television Tuners if Werner Herzog was here.
Yeah.
And also, he would just become the host.
Yeah, and also it would become the greatest podcast of all time.
Well, yeah, I feel like our listenership would jump 1,000%. Anyway, if you're listening, Werner, hit us up. And anybody else who's listening, you can all hit us up. If you have any quips, comments, questions, foresights, otherwise, you can send them to us at our email address, and we'll read them.
Except for Mayor McCheese. We don't want your emails.
Yeah, he keeps sending fundraising emails to me, and it's like, dude, it's 2023. Like, we're not even in the year of your election yet, dude. Like, chill out. But you can, if you're not Mayor McCheese, send them to us at tvtunerspodcast@gmail.com. What's that email, Stair?
tvtunerspodcast@gmail.com.
That's right. You could be like Gio, who sent us this email. Help me out here. Y'all see Tenet? What's going on with this time shit? Everything's all wobbly dobbly.
Did they ever make a version of Tenet where you can hear what they're saying?
Yes, if you turn your volume up loud when you're watching at home.
That's what they say about all of them.
Yeah, it's kind of like when Game of Thrones had that like super dark episode and everyone was like, just change your brightness settings.
I'm disappointed that the theories about it being 9/11 related weren't true.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those scenarios like when Cloverfield first came out and everyone was like, what if it's Godzilla? Where it's like, it would be a cooler movie if it was. Like, just imagine you start hearing like Christopher Nolan made a 9/11 movie.
Oh, okay.
But also if you start hearing like Godzilla's voice, that'd be cool too.
Maybe that's what Oppenheimer will be.
They're making a nuke to kill Godzilla, yeah.
No, they make the nuke and then they wake up Godzilla from the ocean.
Oh, right, like how it actually sort of happens.
Yeah. like you get this down to earth horrific depiction of Hiroshima, and then Godzilla attacks.
Yeah, it'd be great.
It's fucked up to think that I'm like an infinitely superior creative mind and executive to what's his name, Zaslav.
The Warner Brothers guy. I think almost everybody is a better creative mind than him, considering that he's like a hedge fund ghoul. Okay, so I did look up the cast list for Oppenheimer. And I already knew that it was pretty stacked, but good God, is it stacked.
It's the last great movie, Swanson.
Movies will be dead after...
Wait, what comes out first? Oppenheimer or Barbie?
I think, don't they come out at the same time? That's been the joke, I thought.
Oh my god. I thought it was like just the same week.
It might be. But I mean,
same month.
Movies are saved. This is the part of the show where I say that I unironically am kind of excited to see the Barbie movie. It looks like the right kind of dumb.
Oh yeah, you got to say that, otherwise your girlfriend will kill you.
I mean, it just looks like the right kind of stupid. Also, it has Ryan Gosling as Ken, which is like, if I had to pick someone to be Ken, it's Ryan Gosling.
Well, there's 3 Kens, I thought.
There's numerous Kens, but the main Ken that we follow is Ryan Gosling. Okay, now I have 2 separate pages up for 2 of the greatest movies to come out this year. This is what the cast listing has. There's no cast listings for Ken, other than there's one called Merman Ken.
Oh my fucking god, yes!
And I'm not going to spoil who he's played by. I just want you to experience it for yourself.
Yeah. I think we should save that as a treat for.
Yeah, I'm just going to say the names. We're not going to spoil who plays any of these people. So they have a bunch of Barbies listed. So you got journalist Barbie, judge Barbie, diplomat Barbie, mermaid Barbie, which kind of tracks, lawyer Barbie, physicist Barbie, writer Barbie, Dr. Barbie,
Ooh.
President Barbie, and weird Barbie.
What if they put the physicist Barbie in just to make fun of Oppenheimer?
That I feel like that would be perfect.
That'd be.
I can picture it now, guys. You know, it's 2024, early in the year. It's the Academy Awards.
Half the country is burnt down.
Half the country is in flames. It's the Academy Awards. We're trying to, Hollywood's trying to do levity for the.
And they're in the fire. They're in the fire tornado shelter.
Right, and they open up. They say the winner, Best Picture, Barbie. Country is healed. Suddenly, the sun shines again. The smoke clears.
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders wins the presidency despite not running.
Oh, I thought. Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna have like some pro wrestling shit happen, like Christopher Nolan barges in and sets off a nuclear bomb.
Oh no, I'm just saying that like the world will be will heal itself via that film winning. Anyway,
you were painting quite a picture, so I expected.
Back to Oppenheimer. Stacked cast here, right? You got Cillian Murphy as, of course, Oppenheimer. Matt Damon plays some dude named Leslie Groves, who I'm assuming is a general. Yeah, Robert Downey Jr.'s in here.
He was the general in charge of the Manhattan Project, Swanson.
Oh,
who plays Klaus Fuchs?
Great question. Let's see. I might have to scroll down here a bit.
It's Chris. It's some guy.
Some guy.
It's a nobody.
We do have Gary Oldman as Harry Truman.
Okay, that's good. That's a good choice.
Yeah. Thankfully, Christopher Nolan did not cast Christian Bale in this because he would have actually figured out how to get a bomb.
Where?
I don't know if he would if Christian Bale was like, I don't know who he would play. There's not really a whole lot of hot people making this stuff. But if he...
Yeah, Manhattan Project, notably not a lot of hotties.
Also, then they have a side-by-side picture of Cillian Murphy and Oppenheimer, and they do look kind of very similar. Apparently Jack Quaid is in this.
Yes. Yeah, I knew that because he was on Half in the Bag, and he talks about it. Yeah, he played Richard Feynman, which was like probably the only guy at the Manhattan Project who could actually get it.
Okay, yeah, that tracks. Anyway, Gio, you were talking about Tenet, and no, I don't really remember the time travel aspects of Tenet. The bullets can go back in time or something, I think.
Many have.
And there's a lot of inverted stuff going on. Yeah, that's about it, I think. I feel like Tenet might be a movie that's worth rewatching, but is it really? Is the question.
No, I doubt it.
Is Tenet Christopher Nolan's weakest, or is it Dark Knight Rises?
Probably Tenet. Because at least Dark Knight Rises has the Bane memes.
It's true, yeah. Also, Dark Knight Rises is kind of a predecessor to Oppenheimer because a bomb is involved in the climax.
So true.
Anyway, don't watch Tenet.
Don't
Go watch
it.
like The Prestige or something. Go watch Interstellar. Anyway, I hope that helps, Gio. And if it doesn't, write us an email, tvtunerspodcast@gmail.com. But with that out of the way, I have an important question, Stair. One that I ask every week. What are you watching? Anything fun? Exciting?
I watched I Think You Should Leave, Season 3.
Oh, nice. I've seen some sketches and not watched the whole thing yet.
There were some very good ones.
Yeah, I saw the burgers, fries one.
Did you see the one with Tim Heidecker?
No.
That is definitely an all-timer. Like,
I saw the burgers and fries one, and then I saw the thing that goes through the doggy door, but it's just a pig.
For a moment, I thought there were monsters in the world.
Yeah, both great sketches. I've seen memes about the driving crooner.
Yeah, people really like that one.
But yeah, I've
probably because it's the first sketch you see. So by default, the primacy effect.
Yeah, that's true. It happens all the time.
I like the one about the dating show guy, who really is just there for the zip line.
But it's a great show.
Yes.
I've heard people starting to boil it down to, and then Tim Robinson yells, and I'm like, what's the problem with that? Bob Odenkirk made his comedic career off of screaming, "God damn it!" So I feel like Tim Robinson can do his by yelling.
And he's earned it.
It's true. Like, every time I watch I Think You Should Leave, I can't believe SNL had this guy and they just let him go.
Didn't they also have Tim Robinson?
That's what I mean. They had Tim Robinson.
Oh, I thought you meant they had Bob Odenkirk. Yeah.
Well, they did. He was on there. But he was on there when it was like, you could be weird and successful.
Yeah, you're contractually obligated to be unfunny nowadays.
It's true. If you're funny, they let you go. I don't know how true that is, but Tim Robinson was on there for like, I don't know, a year or two. Yeah. But yeah, great show. Tune in, I assume.
Rest in peace.
Oh, it's over?
No.
I feel like if I heard that Tim Robinson had died, I would quit life.
I'd be like, oh! That's what Kia would say.
Yeah.
And I would say, I don't even want to be around anymore.
Yeah. There's too much shit on...
Yeah, the shit, it never ends.
Yeah. I would, if when he dies, I hope his obituary says that people can change.
Oh.
Anyway, good stuff. Anything else?
No.
Okay.
I've been watching Zeta Gundam with my dad.
What's he think of this mysterious figure named Quattro Bagina?
He thinks he's really cool. And he's constantly getting confused about the political situation.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it is slightly more confusing than the mostly normal, like the mostly...
the Star Wars.
Star Wars-esque scenario, yeah.
How dare you say that, Swanson?
I mean, kind of is.
Fuck you!
I mean, let's face it, Star Wars never had Darth Vader kill... Oh, I guess, wait, hold on. How wild would it be if in the sequel trilogy if Darth Vader just came back under another name?
He's wearing a helmet over his helmet.
And everyone's like, who is that? I think that's Darth Vader.
No.
No.
It's funny in retrospect because Char is just like, I don't want to be Char right now, you guys. Come on. Come on, you guys.
And then just so much shit happens that he's like, okay, I'll be Char again.
Yeah. But the sad part is he still kind of phones it in.
He really is sort of just he's Char playing the hits, like he's Elton John in the 90s, you know?
I don't know.
He's just playing the hits.
Oh, okay. That would make sense. I'm really filling in for the role of Keo right now. Not knowing things.
Using his classic catchphrase, I don't know. R.I.P. Let's see. I finished the second season of Yellow Jackets.
What's that again?
That's a show where a women's soccer team is stranded in the woods and then they start eating each other.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
They finally get to the cannibalism factory this season.
Oh, no.
But yeah, it's good stuff. This season was a little wobblier than the first one, which makes me a little nervous about where they're going next. But I still enjoy the cast, even amid some weird creative decisions. And
like having them eat each other.
No, I mean, that was like spot on. I mean, it's been teased since the first scene. But there were some odd choices in terms of pacing. Apparently the
the 4-hour sex scene.
Honestly, might have been better than some of the stuff they came up with. But Elijah Wood shows up this season as a little weirdo, which is his perfect... That's what he should be doing, being a little weirdo.
What, is he like a hobbit in the woods?
No, he shows up as a quote-unquote citizen detective trying to uncover a murder that one of the characters committed, and then reveals himself to be kind of like a little creepy weirdo who's also cool with murder.
But is he a detective?
He's a citizen detective, so he's essentially just a rich guy who has too much time on his hands.
So yes and no. It's
What?
So yes and no.
Yeah, kind of a little of both, but he's kind of a bright spot for me in terms of the season.
I really need to get on that. There's so much. Show. There's so much on my backlog.
It's a fun show. I recommend it. I would say that the second season does get a little slow in parts, a little wobbly, but I feel like they can definitely right the ship. Tune in.
Yeah, by hiring us.
That's right. Yeah, because then we can finally get that 4-hour sex scene with just Elijah Wood.
I guess that's technically sex. I
mean, it's Elijah Wood, but you don't know who he's having sex with.
Oh,
you have to try and figure it out. It's a mystery.
That's some David Lynch filming there.
Yeah, like you don't see the face of who.
And there's like Vaseline on the camera lens.
Yeah.
So it's all dreamlike.
And it's shot on like a home recorder from 2004.
Oh, well. So you thought I meant diegetically.
Yeah, that's true. Well, no, I mean it's both the things. It's shot on a home recorder from 2004 and there's Vaseline on the lens.
All right.
Anyway, tune in on that. Let's see, what else did I watch? Oh, I watched All Quiet on the Western Front, aka the new one, the remake, the German one. It was alright, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, they ruined the ending.
They ruined a lot. And yeah, the ending in particular was like dumb beyond. So because the original
point of the book ending is they just die in the... Yeah, go on.
Well, yeah, like the original book and the sort of the point of the book isn't about the brutality of war so much as it is about how war is like an alienating thing for those involved. And how
which is brutal in and of itself.
Yeah, like the movie sort of really lingers on the brutality of it when it's kind of like a secondary point to what the book is about, or even the original movie. Because they cut out one of the crucial scenes that I remember from reading the book in high school, which is the main character goes back to his village and doesn't fit in anymore, and then returns
much
to
like Christ.
Yes, exactly. And then returns to the front lines for his impending doom. Without
and he doesn't
that
even die in anything important.
Yeah, that's the other thing. He dies on like a quiet day, which is the whole point of the. In this movie, that scene does not happen, so he's just there the entire time. And also, he dies literally seconds before the ceasefire, which is just like real cheesy writing. Like, he gets stabbed through the heart with a bayonet, and then, like, as he gets stabbed and, like, the guy who stabs him runs away, you hear, like, someone scream out, "Ceasefire!" And then he, like, walks up to the top and sees, like, everyone walking away and falls over and dies. And it's like, okay.
But I don't think it's how the ceasefire happened.
Yeah, I'm going to go on a limb and say it's not. But
I think that they kind of said in advance when it was going to happen. So no one would be, like, bayoneting each other.
The movie, like, I think the movie also tries a little too hard to make a point of, like, commanding officers and, like, the disparity between them and the average soldier. Because there's a whole subplot about the armistice that isn't in the book at all. There's no, like... And it just feels like it kind of ruins the tension in the film to keep jetting over to what the other people are doing.
You need to pick a lane movie. You can either be Paths of Glory or you can be other thing.
Right. Yeah. But I don't know. I just didn't like any of the real choices, and it felt like they didn't get a grasp on what I like about the story. Which is, I mean, some people, I will say it looks nice. It's probably the best looking Netflix film I've seen, other than, well, no, probably the best looking Netflix film I've seen.
I watched a World War film a few months back. I don't know if I talked about it on the show. I think it had Christopher Eccleston in it.
Oh.
And they just spend the whole film in the trench. You don't see any of the battles. Like, characters will go off on patrol, and then, like, one of them will come back.
Huh.
And then at the end, they just get shelled to death. And you don't even get to see the Germans marching in.
That seems like stylistically interesting. So, yeah, I mean, I guess I would give it a tune out on All Quiet. I don't know. I feel like the more I think about it, the less I like it. Also, another thing that annoyed me is that in the story, as told, his last friend in the war gets shot and killed and dies. And in this, he just dies because they're stealing food from a farmer. And he gets shot instead of him just getting shot pointlessly in the war.
Which would be very accurate if the movie was about the 30 Years' War.
Yes.
Where the peasants basically had to form guerrilla factions just to survive because of all the they had more soldiers in Germany than the land could support.
Right. And I also feel like the film, I don't know, it's hard to get a sense of what the main character is actually thinking or feeling, because you never feel that sort of isolation or worry or anything. I don't know. You do get to see someone get literally run over by a tank, so there's that.
Well, you get to see that in Indiana Jones.
True.
And Band of Brothers.
Oh yeah, true.
Which is also bad from a historical perspective.
Yeah, but it is a little. It does.
Well,
look nice.
I guess it's a book that's problematic historically speaking.
Yeah.
Like the book completely glosses over how their training instructor was Jewish, and that might have affected the Easy Company or Able Company's opinion on him.
But yeah, I'll give it a tune out for All Quiet. Go watch the original movie or read the book or do something else. We should recommend more that people do something else.
Yes. Anything, please. Just not that.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it for me, so I guess that means that's it for this segment.
Well, Kale won't be watching anything.
It's true. Not ever again. It's the all black channel for him, and by which I mean the nothingness channel.
Oh, is that from like those Persona games?
Yeah, I think so.
The whole black channel.
Let's go to the news, huh?
Did anything happen?
Yeah.
The CEO of Chase died in a race car accident.
Oh, dang. So it really does feel like the world is just sort of course correcting itself in terms of how to treat billionaires.
Nature is healing. Gaia is getting its revenge.
Yes. So Wheel of Fortune has entertained millions of people who keep their TVs on for over 4 decades at this point. And the face of Wheel of Fortune for over 4 decades has been one Pat Sajak. Odds are pretty good that if you've ever seen Wheel of Fortune, you've seen his face. But in a year from now, you won't, because he'll be retiring. The 76-year-old, holy shit, the 76-year-old Pat Sajak said that he will be officially done with the show, although he'll remain as a consultant for the next 3 years as it transitions. Stating, "I've decided that our 41st season will be my last. It's been a wonderful ride." And that was all he said on the matter.
Wow.
That's a long time, guys. 40 years? I can't even imagine being around that long.
You should not be working at 76.
It's true.
Especially when he's standing up all the time. He's pointing at the wheel.
Yeah.
He's spinning it.
He's spinning the wheel. He's saying no, yes, maybe, don't do that.
Double deal.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know. I haven't watched Wheel of Fortune.
I
really am the Keo today.
Well, I don't think I ever really watched Wheel of Fortune. I can share one of my favorite internet sort of jokes that I've seen that's from Wheel of Fortune, which is that there's a thing on summertime foods, and this lady tries to guess the thing, and she says, it seems as if it says grilled something something, and so she says grilled mashed tater, and there's a pause, and then Pat Sajak, to his credit, says, "Nope, not that." And that's my enduring memory of Wheel of Fortune. Sajak's co-star and lady who turns the words over letters.
Really, when you think about it, she's a more important one.
She is, and she'll be sticking around. Although I did learn today that she has not gotten a raise in 18 years.
Oh my god.
She makes a purported $3 million, which is, according to sources, 5 times less than what Pat Sajak makes. I mean, listen, $3 million is a lot of money, but also when you're the person who objectively does less work than you and is a man, makes 5 times that amount, makes roughly $15 million a year. I think you might be entitled to a raise. But anyway, presumably she'll get that raise and she'll stick around. We'll see.
They'll probably fire her.
Yeah, they'll just replace the whole thing and then be like, why is no one watching this anymore? Anyway, with Pat Sajak leaving and Alex Trebek having passed away, it seems as if the old guard is dying just as cable also dies slowly and surely.
Yeah, the old world is dying and the new one is struggling to be born. Now is the time of monsters.
It's true. Many have said this, and I would also agree with it. Anyway, congrats. Can't wait to see. Who would you want to host Wheel of Fortune?
Steve Harvey.
Yeah. I mean, he might as well just do all of the game shows, right?
And he should be president.
I don't know if I trust him as president.
Listen, regardless, things are just going to get worse. No matter what we do.
I feel like he would make
might as well have fun.
I feel like he would be like his first act would be like making alimony illegal or something.
He did what? he signed what?
Yeah, I think if I had to pick a host, I think mine would be LeVar Burton. He didn't get the Jeopardy gig, so just let him do Wheel of Fortune. It's a little less taxing. See what he does. Do you think there's a Wheel of Fortune podcast? I bet you there is.
I don't care. I don't want to know. Don't put this into my world, Swanson.
It's just like two really bland people just sitting there.
If you show me the Wheel of Fortune podcast, I'm gonna start thinking about what those people's lives are like, and that's not gonna.
Yeah, I mean, what if I showed you the Wheel of Fortune podcast and it was more popular than our podcast? Like significantly so.
It's not about. It's about me feeling pain, Swanson. Just thinking about the lives those people live, even if they are materially better off than me.
Okay, fair. Well, why don't we... Speaking of people who are materially better off than you, Showtime's Billions is coming to an end with its 7th season.
After 1 billion episodes.
That's, maybe. Not quite, I think. I think it'll end with something around 70 episodes, maybe 80. But yes,
wow.
the show Billions...
Wow, that's been a while.
Yeah, it's been around for 7 seasons, so I think it came out 2016. That's right, wow. January 17th, 2016 was when it debuted. Now, I'm going to freely admit that all I know about Billions, at least until I started looking it up for this episode, is that Paul Giamatti is on it.
That's all I knew as well.
According to Wikipedia, Billions is about a U.S. attorney for New York, Giamatti, who goes after a hedge fund manager and popular philanthropist, who's played by Damian Lewis, who I think that sounds familiar, but I don't know what he's from. Band of Brothers.
Yes.
And they fight over. They try to outmaneuver each other and stuff.
And it takes 1 billion episodes.
That's right. Yeah.
It's a shonen.
It's like how anime has like 2 strong warriors going at it, but what we get is 2 like rich dudes.
Yeah.
But yeah, the show's coming off the air, but hey, there's always time for a spin-off. Apparently, there are 2 spin-offs in the works called Millions and Trillions, respectively.
They must have taken inspiration for the original pitch to the Gundam sequel, which was going to be a prequel, Alpha Gundam, and a sequel, Zeta Gundam.
Nice. Yeah,
I assume these are prequels and sequels.
I mean, yeah, you would think so, right? That's what the idea is. There's nothing actually stated about them other than their names, but it kind of just speaks for itself, right? Millions is like the sort of Better Call Saul scenario here for them, and Trillions is El Camino.
I'm thinking Millions will take place like in the 1930s when there was a lot of money.
Yeah. Not in the 80s, you don't think?
Well, you already had... Okay, sure, why not? Whatever.
And then Trillions can take time in like the 40s when it's a barren wasteland, and there are people trading like water for...
Yeah, a bottle of water goes for $1 trillion.
Yeah.
And Bill Hader is like a Morton Joe.
Yeah, Bill Hader's involved with this one.
Yes.
That would make me watch it.
Calling it right now.
Here's a couple things that I also learned about the show Billions that I find interesting, and hopefully you do too. Apparently, Billions was the first American TV series to have a non-binary character. So that's pretty cool. Good on them. They're still present on the show, and it seems as if they... have
$1 billion.
Yeah. I don't know. They're apparently a financial analyst of some sort who's involved with the hedge fund guy. So they're probably not the best, but...
And they probably know karate.
Yeah, they should, right?
Yes, so they can kill people on the hedge fund guy's behalf.
Now, here's a couple things I learned about Paul Giamatti's character, the main character of the show, as it were. In private, sadomasochist and engages in BDSM roleplay with Wendy and his wife. With Wendy, his wife, acting as a slave.
Why do you need to have the Paul Giamatti sex scenes?
Oh boy, I'm being dominated. That's my Paul Giamatti.
I thought he was the dom.
No, he is being dominated by his wife Wendy.
Good for him.
Yeah, he's being stepped on and stuff, I'm assuming.
Oh. Swanson wouldn't know. He's not about that life.
No, not really. But, I'm sure people are. Apparently, the show's producers did have a noted BDSM expert involved in the writing. So, in order for it to be portrayed both accurately and safely.
How do you become a BDSM expert, Swanson?
Well, you like it and you keep doing it.
You go to college? Okay.
You got a degree. Maybe. I mean, you never know. Hard to say.
We got an official rope master for our production.
Yeah, that was your working name, right?
Yes.
But yeah,
and then it turned out that it didn't test well with POC audiences.
Yeah. Yeah, they had some ideas. They had some other ideas about what you meant. Anyway, the final season of Billions will be coming up shortly, I assume, provided that the... Well, I think it's actually done, so maybe they won't be affected by the writer's strike. Oh, no, it is done. It'll be premiering August 13th. We will not be covering it, but,
Never. There's no way you can get us to talk about Billions.
Yeah, this right here is all of the Billions you're ever going to get. Unless,
Huh?
More on that later. Yeah, there's a lot of characters. A lot of these characters have nicknames, too. So you got, you got Paul Giamatti's character, Charles Chuck Rhodes Jr., You got Damian Lewis's character, Robert Bobby Axelrod.
Hold on. Just having a short name of your first name isn't a nickname, Swanson.
The show seems to think the cast page seems to think so. But don't worry, these other ones are a little more your speed, I think. What you're thinking of.
This Wikipedia article must be written by people who hang out with the characters from Billions.
We have Mike Wags Wagner. Okay, borderline. He's played by Gale from Breaking Bad.
Good on him. Get that work.
This is my favorite of these nicknames, which is Dollar Bill Stern.
I like that.
I don't know what Dollar Bill Stern does, but that's a great guy right there.
He makes money.
Nothing awful.
I assume he's like a lawyer or litigation guy.
Yeah, you would think. There's also someone called Scooter Dunbar.
Gotta love a guy named Scooter.
Okay, Dollar Bill Stern is a portfolio manager.
Close enough.
Yeah.
You never hear about anyone named Scooter committing heinous acts. There's no serial rapist named Scooter.
It's true. I think it's because Scooter is too close to Skeeter. Hey, dog. Anyway, let us never discuss Billions again.
Discuss what?
Exactly. And, that's about it for the news there, which means that all that's left for us to do...
It's over. It's so over.
It's so over, guys. You don't even know how over it is. Like, try and take a second, think about how over it is. It's not even close. Now it's time, of course, for our main event. We watched a show, and now we're going to talk about it to the best of our ability.
Set in the far future of 2025, Silo is about it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's appropriate for how today went for both of us. Based off
The
of
fog has come.
Based off of the popular Wool series of novels by author Hugh Howey, Apple TV Plus's Silo is set in a dystopian future where a community exists in a giant, you guessed it, silo that extends hundreds of stories underground. 10,000 people live in this society bound by regulations they believe are meant to protect them, but perhaps they're not? Did Silo leave you in a weird little hole in the ground, or did you go outside and die?
Did Hilo treat your hole right? There's Silo.
Did Silo treat your hole right? Yeah. Or did it leave it barren?
Oh, this is kind of an interesting program we watched.
I thought the concept in general was interesting, even if the first episode was very boring.
I mean, interesting in far as shows we discuss on this program, because I don't know.
True.
How to word my feelings on it are complicated.
I thought it was interesting that the show focuses on two characters and then kills one off at the end. Presumably more characters will be showing up.
I mean, The Shield did that too.
True. Yeah. The Shield, this is not.
It is about a cop.
It is about a cop.
Rules.
Sheriff Holston is this guy's name. He's a cop. He does cop things, I guess. We don't really see him do much in terms of actual whatever his job is. He's a sheriff.
Missed opportunity to give us a poorly filmed chase scene where he runs after a guy.
True, it would be in keeping with the themes of most of what we've watched this year.
You mean it being garbage?
Well, the chase scene, yeah. But yeah.
Well, at the end of the year, we can talk about how many chase scenes we watched.
Yeah, I feel like it's been a bit, actually. We've watched a good amount, I think. Did they ever have any tense chase scenes in Barry?
Yes.
Yeah, how many?
Barely. Well, the big one is the one in season 3 when he's driving down the highway and being chased by the bikers.
Oh yeah, true. It's just that most what would seem to be the start of a chase scene or something involving someone driving a car always ends in calamity.
Yeah.
Not the case here, of course. There are no cars as far as we know. I don't think you would need one. There's a few talks about how hard it is to travel, like, to the under part of the silo. It takes like days, apparently. This show, I kind of like the world it sets up, even if I don't really care about the two people that we follow for most of this. Like, I feel like there are more interesting things for the show to be focusing on.
Like the janitor who has to clean up all the stuff that falls to the very bottom.
True. Or like the engineer lady that we see at the very end of this, who seems to be a main character, but does not have any lines.
She seems way more interesting than the wife character.
Yeah, and all she does in this entire first episode is like...
It's glare.
Is glare and like hold a big wrench. And that's it.
Ladies, if you need to impress your man, if you need to get him interested, hold up a big wrench.
Yeah, they'll start going, hoo, hoo, hoo. More power. Hoo, hoo. But yeah, all right, listen, Stair, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was trying to think back on this show. We were gonna record a couple days ago, prior to Keo's
we
trip.
found out.
Yeah. And you know, while I am, of course, always thinking about Keo, I was thinking about something else. Because this show has a sort of forbidden door.
Oh,
which
yes.
is what you're not supposed to go through, of course, or you'll die, according to the government of this show. But I was thinking about another forbidden door, which is the AEW and New Japan Wrestling crossover event, Forbidden Door, that happened this Sunday.
Oh, tell me more.
Well, it's the only time of the year, really, where New Japan stars come to America, although this time they were in Toronto. And they they have crossover matches with AEW folks. Usually it's pretty awesome.
So this is like every multiverse movie ever, but actually fulfilling.
That's right, yeah. And Canadian wrestler Kenny Omega had an awesome match with British wrestler Will Ospreay. Perhaps, and thinking about it right now, I might say one of the best matches I've ever watched in my life.
Oh, what were the stakes? Like, have they been beefing?
Yeah. So Will Ospreay used to have the New Japan's United States Championship, but lost it to Kenny, who made his. So the long and short history is that before AEW was ever a thing, Kenny Omega made his fame in New Japan and then left to form AEW. In that time, Will Ospreay became like the popular Gaijin wrestler, which was Kenny's old role. Kenny comes back and says, "Hey, you have that belt? I'm taking it." And then he does.
Wow, the nerve of this guy.
He does, and he like beats the shit out of Will in the match. Like, there's a sequence where he just keeps slamming Will's head through a table until the table breaks.
Oh,
and I still can't figure out exactly how they managed to do that without him actually getting a concussion, but they did.
I can't believe the refs allowed that.
Japanese refs are extremely lenient.
Like, yeah, I just imagine Japanese pro wrestling has shots of the camera of the ref just nodding approvingly.
Sometimes the ref is just like, "No, I will not call it off." Like, they talk a lot about referee discretion, where like the rules are sort of up to the ref.
I did watch a Royal Rumble type event for a smaller Japanese label. I forgot what it was called.
Yeah, they love their battle royals.
It was a comedy type, so two of the wrestlers had a gimmick that they were gay, and they teabagged their opponents.
And
one of the wrestlers was a dummy.
Was this DDT?
Maybe.
That seems about right. They do have a dummy wrestler. Fun fact: Kenny Omega started in DDT.
I think, that makes sense.
But yeah, a lot of great wrestlers start there. Japanese ones, some Gaijin too. But yeah, I was just thinking about how...
I like how you keep calling him Gaijin.
Well, that's what they call him.
Guy who barely... Like, that's something Weeaboo's saying. You, watch maybe one anime a year.
That's what they call foreign wrestlers.
I
know. But yeah. Well, this show, though... I'll bring it back. The show...
show?
The Silo.
Oh, right. So we get the sheriff. He's looking at his wife's photo.
Yeah, we're led to believe that something tragic has happened.
He's gonna put on his sheriff uniform, and they decide to go work casual.
Yeah.
And he comes to work. He's like, "Hey, meet me in the jail cell for criminals." To his partner.
Yes.
And the partner's like, "What?"
And he locks the door behind him and says, "I want out." And the guy's like, "Whoa, hey, whoa.
No, don't do this to me.
And then
I love you."
We cut to 2 years previously. And
sort of like Chernobyl.
Sort of, actually. Yeah, sort of. Him and his wife are very excited because they got the fuck approval pass. You can now fornicate for the intent of procreating.
Yeah, and they go to the gynecologist, and they remove this 19th century medieval-looking torture device from her pussy.
Yeah, which is, I guess, supposed to be the
IUD.
Yeah. But what we come to find out later is a fake.
Yeah. It's
wild stuff.
So we get a scene of them fucking for 4 hours.
Yeah, they don't do any of that. Nothing happens because, as we learn later,
he really gives her what she needs with that back shot. I tell you what.
Yeah, we get a 4-hour scene of just them, and this is a 5-hour episode of TV, by the way. It's one episode, but it's 5 hours. And 4 hours of it is this.
Anyway, so they have sex.
Yeah.
Then they're having brunch.
Oh, yeah.
And the old lady comes up to him and he's like, "Get out!"
Yeah, this old lady's like, "Hello, I'm a fertility expert." And he's like, "You're a piece of shit is what you are."
"Were it not for the laws of this land, I would cut you down where you stand."
And she's just like, "Oh, I guess he doesn't like me." And she leaves, and his wife's like, "So what's that all about?" And she's like, She's evil. She's the evilest person who's ever existed." And his wife's like, "Uh-huh. I'll be talking with her later." When plot happens. We learn a couple little details throughout this, like that one of the punishments for people who commit crimes is cleaning duty, which is you go out and you clean the sensors so that people can see outside of see the polluted wasteland outside.
I assume that the people who clean don't get to come back in because they die seconds later.
Yeah, so essentially crimes are punishable by death and only death. But also in the law, you can just say that you want to go outside.
Yeah, but there's this mystery aspect in that people say they won't clean, and then when they get sent outside, they clean. Yeah.
And no one's sure why. But yeah, we also get some stuff about how... so the government keeps talking about how these pesky rebels came in and started burning everything.
Sort of like how Kenny Omega stole the title.
True, yeah. Actually, yeah, because, that story didn't I didn't really finish that, did they? Yeah, he sort of beat... I mean, he didn't really steal it. He did win it fair and square by beating the shit out of the guy.
But he's not even in the same wrestling promotion. He shouldn't have done that.
It's true. He was a guest, even if he was a legend coming back to Japanese pro wrestling. But he went on to hold the United States title, defending it here and there. And then eventually, Will came back from an injury and decided that he was going to challenge Kenny. And he was going to beat since Kenny embarrassed him in Japan, he was going to beat Kenny in his home country in Canada, Toronto, Canada. And Kenny took the challenge, and so the big match was set. And I mean, yeah, it was a great match. It had everything you could want. People almost landing on their neck. Another table spot where this time Kenny got his head bashed through an announcer table. Lots of blood. Someone gets hit on the steel steps. Yeah, great stuff.
Did Kenny have any shooters coming in to help him out?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, that's the fun thing. Because it's in Canada, Kenny's the face now. And Will is the heel. He's healing it up. He comes out with an intro where it suggests that because he's there and he's going to win, that there'll be riots in Canada and fires going all around. Probably not the best actual intro. Happening. But and he comes out with two big beefy security guards. He also comes out with a man who named Don Callis. And there's another element to this story that I should mention, which is what's been happening with Kenny in AEW. Ever since Kenny won the world title in 2021, he's since lost it, of course. Don Callis has been his guy. Don Callis is a Canadian promoter who claims that
like a Paul Bearer type.
Yes. He claims that he's the reason Kenny Omega is in wrestling. That if it weren't for him, Kenny would have gone and started playing hockey professionally instead of becoming a wrestler. So Callis says that he came back and he led Kenny to the top or whatever. And him and Kenny have a sort of tenuous relationship for a while. After the title is lost, and eventually Callis turns on him and hits him with a screwdriver. During a critical match, and Kenny loses. Well, Callis is here representing Will now as sort of a final jab in the eye to Kenny. And the commentators hype this up that this is Kenny's first singles match without Don Callis in 3 years. 2 years, I guess. And so they're like, can he compete at the level that he has been able to with Don Callis in his corner? So Callis shows up. The crowd hates this dude's guts. There are people who, there are, literal monsters who probably would get a better reaction from this crowd than Don Callis does.
Like Frankenstein.
Frankenstein could come out and he would probably get... I mean, in a wrestling show, I feel like Frankenstein would get cheered.
Yeah. Well, definitely put asses in the seats.
I mean, yeah, you're gonna...
I got Frankenstein.
You're gonna miss Frankenstein in the main event? Anyway, yeah, Kenny, Don Callis is there, sort of like, does a couple little interference things. He grabs Kenny's leg at one point to stop him from doing a move. And the ref's had enough. The ref's pissed off. He says, "You're out of here." He does the whole, send him to the back thing. Callis is upset. He goes to the back. And now we have like the actual nitty-gritty wrestling match, right? And it goes back and forth for a long time. Will can't put Kenny down. Kenny's trying to put Will down. It goes back, tons of great exchanges. And then when the ref is preoccupied, who comes out? Don Callis. The crowd groans in anticipation because they know how most wrestling matches go with this. And by this point, the match has been going on for a half hour almost. Never looked at the time. Don Callis comes out. He hands a screwdriver to Ospreay. Kenny Omega has this finishing move called the One-Winged Angel, where he puts his opponent up on his shoulders. Yeah, he's a geek in the best ways. I forgot to mention that when he first beat Will, he literally came out in Sephiroth cosplay.
Oh my god!
With the actual song playing. Anyway, he has this move called One-Winged Angel that no one has ever kicked out of. A sort of unheard thing in wrestling that no one's kicked out of your finisher. He has this move where he puts you on your shoulders and then sort of flips you down onto your back and slams you down. No one's ever kicked out of it in the almost 20 years that Omega's been wrestling. So he has him up in the One-Winged Angel. Ospreay hits him in the forehead with the screwdriver, and then Ospreay does his own finishing maneuver, which is one of them anyway, which is sort of he grabs you by the neck and spins you until you land on your face, sort of deals. He does that move to him, and the Canadian crowd is losing their shit because this is it. This is the end of the match. This has to be it. Kenny, right before the hand comes down for 3, Kenny's foot goes on the rope, which means that he's good. If your foot's on the rope, you're good. Crowd loses it. Kenny's still good. So Don is also losing it because he thought that was it. So he brings Will over. He says, "Listen, I got one last thing, So Will gets Kenny up on his shoulders. He's going to do the One-Winged Angel on Kenny.
Well, you can't do that.
The ultimate disrespect is doing someone else's finisher. So he hits Kenny with the One-Winged Angel. Everyone's groaning again. This is it. Kenny kicks out at 1. At this point in the match, I am up off the couch. I'm pacing around.
There might be riots, depending on how this ends.
Yeah, he kicks out at 1, which is unheard of, but it's because he's Kenny fucking Omega. Kenny the only person who can kick out of the One-Winged Angel is Kenny. So anyway, him and Will go at it for a couple more times. Don Callis is pretty much effectively null and void in the match at this point because he's done all he thought he could do. They go back and forth. Kenny tries to get him up one more time for the One-Winged Angel. Will Ospreay comes back, hits him with the finisher. Then to make matters worse, he hits him with his second finisher, which is just an elbow to the neck.
How is that even safe?
I actually don't know how he does it safely, but it's a safe move apparently. And he beats Kenny clean, or as clean as he can anyway. There's still a couple, negligible points, but.
And that's how Canada lost its independence.
Yeah. Pretty much. To the Canadian audience's credit, they were still on board. They weren't they weren't about to throw trash into the ring or anything.
Well, because they were both white.
Right. Yeah, it was totally fine. So Will Ospreay's beaten Kenny Omega now, and now the question is, do you get it's 1-1, do you get the third match? And of course, my answer would be, of course, why the fuck not? I mean, they just had one of the greatest things I've ever witnessed.
How do you top that, though?
It's
Give them
tough.
Swords?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the only way to do it. They have to Highlander the situation. But if anyone could do it, it's probably these two. It should be noted that one of the reasons that Kenny Omega is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time is that he previously had a series of 4 matches with that I consider one of the greatest of all time with a man named Kazuchika Okada, who is like the ace of New Japan Pro Wrestling. So if anyone can create a perfect like little trilogy, it's probably him. You know, people want to talk about Ric Flair or Hulk Hogan or Stone Cold Steve Austin, bum all that. Kenny Omega's the greatest of all time, if you ask me. That's what I'm going to be saying to my children.
What do you think would happen if Chris Benoit did a diving headbutt from the top of the silo to someone standing at the bottom?
I think his head would explode. Oh yeah, Silo. That's the show we were talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, so him and his wife try to have a kid. It doesn't go well.
So the fertility lady gets shouted down in public. She goes to work. She gets yelled at her boss for putting out a guide on how to find deleted files.
Oh, yeah.
To restore deleted files.
And then she gets like an IT request from some guy who's like...
Yeah, this passive-aggressive cunt. I hate him so much.
You know who this guy is,
right?
Oh,
yeah, then she gets... No.
There's
too many guys for me to know.
The guy who was yelling at her is Tim Robbins, a.k.a. Andy Dufresne from The Shawshank Redemption.
No.
Yeah, it is.
No. Wow. Do better.
Yeah, true. I mean...
Do better.
But yeah, she gets an IT request from some weird guy who it essentially is like he's like, I've cracked the code about the government. He's a conspiracy boy. He's a conspiracy bro.
He found a 200-year-old hard drive.
Yeah.
That's underneath someone's carpet.
And apparently it contains some sort of secrets about how the government is, like, hiding things.
It has a map of the silo, including the classified hidden tunnel.
Yeah.
Which they don't say where it goes. And also there's footage of the before times.
Yeah, so that coupled with her discovering that she's had her birth control in the entire time forces her to realize that, like, perhaps... The government is messing with... Perhaps this government
she figures this
is
out.
Authoritarian.
She figures this out by doing, essentially, a do-it-yourself hysterectomy to herself.
Yeah, not great. Very gross.
Yeah, I don't think we needed this.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I understand a little bit why they went this far.
I don't care for it. I don't need it. It's like Metal Gear Solid 5 when the pussy bomb incident.
I don't think it's quite that bad, but like, I don't know if we needed her like ranting and raving to everybody while she was like bleeding out. But she essentially says that she wants to go out in front of everybody, and that prompts like gasp, kind of like the Toronto crowd when Kenny Omega lost. But yeah, it prompts gasp and shock and awe from everybody. She's like, listen, we're not doing this anymore. I'm leaving. And he's like, I guess in accordance with the pact, all you gotta do is say, I'm leaving, and then you go and you leave and you die.
Which kind of makes sense, since it is a very controlled environment.
Yeah.
And they almost died because of saboteurs.
Allegedly.
I guess, as a social thing.
Yeah. And she says, she tells her husband that she's convinced that outside it's clean and stuff, and that she's not going to clean if it's not, but that if it is, she'll start cleaning. And so they, I guess what happens when they hear that someone's going outside is it becomes like a big event. Like it's their Super Bowl. Or perhaps their Forbidden Door in Toronto.
Unfortunately, she's down for the count, unlike Kenny Omega.
It's true, yeah. She does not get a chance at. She does not get a possible chance at revenge. Perhaps in AEW's event All In at Wembley Stadium coming up in August.
Tickets are now on pre-order.
Yeah. Perhaps that'll be a moment for revenge, but not for this lady who she's sent out, and they put her essentially in like they put her in a space suit, They put her in her little spacesuit and tell her to go out. And I wrote this note down, and I think I know what it means now. All I put down was SpongeBob cleaning.
Yeah, it's like when they go to Sally's house.
Yes, yeah, or yeah, like
it's like it.
I was thinking of when Squidward is trying to host a talent show, and SpongeBob just keeps coming out and cleans, and everyone's like, "Yeah!" That's what it is when this lady turns around and starts cleaning the camera. The crowd is going wild, sort of like when Kenny Omega tried to make his comeback.
So she cleans it, and then she falls over, and she tries to kick out.
It's true,
to no success.
She does not kick out at one. And yeah, now her husband has sort of lost the metaphorical title of husband.
Of marriage.
Yeah. And so we cut back to the 2 years before, or to the 2 years later, where he's, I guess in the 2 years since, he's just been sad. But he hears that...
As one would be.
Yeah, he starts investigating the death of the guy who started talking about the hard drive with his wife, and goes to meet...
Yeah, he got rounded up. He got arrested, but they didn't find anything on him.
Yeah.
So apparently the secret police confiscated it.
I'm guessing that's where it's going, probably. He goes to talk with someone who says that they have info on it, and that's when we see this cool engineer lady, and that's pretty much the end of the show. The episode, I mean.
Yeah. But it's not the end for Kenny Omega and Billy West.
Will Ospreay.
Why did I think his name is Billy West?
Well, I mean, Will and Bill are pretty close.
Okay. So, how's that got you feeling, Swanson?
Well, I mean, it's a tune-in for Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay. I mean, it's my match. It's my match of the year right now.
Match of the century.
Yeah, great match. I highly recommend it. The entire event was great. I don't want to make it sound like it was a one-match show or anything. Tons of fun stuff going on. But yeah, good. I mean, as for Silo, the show, I mean, I don't know. I couldn't help thinking about the greatest pro wrestling match I've seen in years, but the show, I mean, I'm going to forget about it probably when we're done recording.
Yeah, the show's put us down for the count.
I mean, listen.
I'm all gassed out thinking about this show.
If you're listening to this and you're like, I can't wait for them to discuss Silo, you're probably disappointed.
Who was expecting that?
I don't know. Maybe people really like this. This is based off of like a series of sci-fi novels, apparently. But listen, it's just that I liked the concept. In general, the Silo itself seems like it's a fun place to explore, but we don't really explore it that much.
Holston is not that interesting a character.
Yeah, I feel like maybe we should focus more on this engineer lady. And maybe we do in later episodes, and it's just, this first episode for some reason is focused on these two. But yeah, I don't know. It wasn't that great for me. Forgettable TV. Forgettable, unlike the unforgettable match that Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega had.
All right. So I'm going to call a match stop on this and say that's a tune out.
All right. Well, that sounds like a tune out on Silo. And listen, that'll about do it for this week's episode of the show. If you're listening, you're like, well, what if I want them to talk about my show? Something that I like.
That I made.
Yeah, something that I produced and made. Well, I guess technically you could do that by going over to buymeacoffee.com/tvtuners. A single coffee will give you a single episode for us to discuss anything you could want. And that'll about do it for this week's episode of the show. Until next week, keep watching. Bye. It's over.
Gotta keep that devil way down in the hole.